got this haircut a while back and it's like one of the craziest haircuts I've ever gotten. So I'm still trying to decide if I like all of the volume. I just feel like it's such a statement. I don't know if I'm a statement person or not. I feel like, okay, I say that and then I have like tattoos and stuff. So I just want to say that I have tried to film this video a couple times because I feel like secondhand shopping is so prevalent in my algorithm, but I do realize there's a lot of people who do not secondhand shop at all, never have, and don't know how. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Hey y'all, my name is Chelsea and I hope you feel at home here. I like to talk about all things home decor, home decorating, home habits, lifestyle type things, and all things that help us to save money and have a beautiful home and live kind of our best lives. So if you're interested in that, be sure to like and subscribe. So as I was saying, I feel like there is a lot of secondhand thrift hauls or like how to decorate with secondhand items, and I just want to talk about some of the best ways that you can shop secondhand. So if you're new to secondhand shopping, first of all, secondhand shopping just means going to a store where someone has already owned all the items and you are now getting them secondhand. So you're the second person, the second hand to touch it. Reasons to shop secondhand can really vary. It depends on a lot of different things for different people. Some reasons that I shop secondhand are I think it's better for the environment. There's already so many items that are made basically, and they're just kind of sitting there and they need someone to wear them. Like this vest, I got this vest secondhand, and if I hadn't bought it, it might just be in a landfill somewhere. So that is pretty cool. Also, it's really fun to give new life to old items instead of them just sitting in the back of a closet somewhere. That's really fun. I'm also one of those weirdos who's kind of cheap and I hate buying things full price. So thrift stores and secondhand shopping is kind of my jam because usually it's at a pretty significant discount. So I love that. And I also am just obsessed with treasure. I love a good treasure hunt story. My favorite movies are really cheesy movies like Sahara or National Treasure or anything like that where a treasure is involved. I'm all about it. I want to be there. And shopping secondhand is like the ultimate treasure hunt because you can either go into it and just like find what you find and that feels exciting, or you can be crazy like me and have very specific items you're looking for and you just spend years and years and years looking for them. And then when you do find them, it's just so exciting and awesome. I want to say that it's for all of the ethical good reasons like saving money and being financially responsible and being thrifty and saving the planet. And those are all really great reasons, but like I said, I'm basically a pirate and I'm just looking for treasure. So I don't know, that's where I'm at with secondhand shopping, and you should be too. I've had a wide, I would say, spectrum of experiences with secondhand shopping. I have lived in places where I would treat my local Goodwill as if it was basically Walmart. Like I could walk in and be looking for a very specific top and I would be able to find it and buy it and take it home. And that was something I did for many years when I lived in like a bigger city. But I've also definitely lived in areas where the thrifting is a little bit more dry and it's hard to find any item that even fits a wide parameter. So if I wanted to find like a white t-shirt where I was living before, I could just totally walk in, buy one and leave that same day. Now where I live, I would be pretty hard pressed to find a white t-shirt that didn't have stains, that fit, and was in the style I wanted. It would probably take me at least 6 months to find a white t-shirt. So I understand there's a wide variety of secondhand shopping for a lot of people where it's not really realistic to go actually do your shopping there if you need something specific, and I totally get that, and that's kind of where I am currently. So with that in mind, there's kind of a hierarchy of secondhand shopping that I prefer living in a rural area that might look different if you live or visit a bigger metropolitan area. So for me, in my current stage of where I'm living, I would say the bare minimum secondhand shopping experience is a thrift store. I'm not sure if this is true in every area or every rural area, but in my area, the thrift stores are kind of the worst option to go to when it comes to finding pretty much anything. My local thrift store is actually kind of pretty dirty, and they will sell dirty clothes that have actual mud on them, and will sell clothes that have huge rips and tears in them. The organization is pretty like horrible. It's supposed to be by size, but it's definitely not by color, which can make finding things really difficult. And they also have I don't know, they also just, in my opinion, put out a lot of items that I really just think are for the landfill, where they're broken or they like are missing every single piece to it, and it's kind of a useless item without the pieces, or like it's impossible to get the replacements. So for me, my thrift stores are kind of the worst option when it comes to secondhand, but I still go there just in case I find a good treasure, because you just never know. I also have found that thrift stores have gotten really expensive. And maybe I'm just old, I don't know, but I remember going to the same thrift store like 8 years ago and being able to buy a sweater for like $1. And now you go in and it's a sweater, and it's a cheap sweater and it has a stain on it, and it's $4.75. And it's just like, I don't even know if this is worth $1, because like who's gonna wear something that's like ripped and stained? So I don't know. For me, I just think the inventory is really lacking. There's not enough of like a bar of like sending things through. And then there's also a lot of furniture that gets priced so high for a thrift store. Like I've been in there before and have seen like a table for like $150. And I've bought real vintage furniture from thrift stores in other areas. Like I bought like a vintage chair for $20, and I have like, it was like perfectly fine and like great, and I've had it for years, and I just like cannot imagine spending more than $50 at a thrift store. And I don't know, you can tell me if I'm wrong about that. I could just be really cheap and just really old and like, you know, fighting against the times or something, but that just feels like a crazy amount of money at a thrift store. So for me, like I said, thrift stores are kind of at the bottom of the scale of secondhand shopping, and I still go just in case I find something cool, but it's not somewhere I'm like, I'm definitely gonna find something. I'm definitely gonna find vintage. I'm definitely going to like find the specific piece I want for my home. It's more of like I have to open myself up to it and just see if anything comes kind of experience. An option better than that in my area is Facebook Market. And I think this is great because you can search for exactly what you want in the mile radius that you're willing to drive, and that is really helpful. And you can negotiate with people. I will say this depends on like your style of furniture or other items. It really depends on the people where you live and if they even have those items to sell, right? So in my area, it is really, really hard to find mid-century furniture that hasn't been painted or destroyed. Everyone decided to paint their beautiful dressers, like the white distressed farmhouse look, and so there's not really good mid-century furniture where I live that people are just selling on Facebook.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
So that's one of the drawbacks with it. This has never happened to me, but I have heard of people getting scammed on Facebook too. You just have to be careful about who you're meeting with and what you're buying and how you're buying it and everything. But the people in your area have a similar style then I think it's a great option. And you can also sell your stuff on Facebook Market, so you can make money on things that you're no longer using anymore, which I think is pretty great. You can make a lot of money that way. Another option that I personally love, this is my favorite option, is antique stores that have booths. So I think basically like a flea market where you walk in, it's a huge warehouse and there's all of these smaller booths and it's just run by different individuals. I love those because I think, one, it's cool to see what people are into because everyone is into like a different aesthetic or weird thing. Like I walked into some booths where it's like I walked into one where they had all vintage like cooking supplies. Like it was all just like wooden rollers and spoons. So that's really fun just to see what people are just into generally collecting. And then also I feel like those places are just like packed full of just little trinket items or very specific things that are like kind of weird and interesting that you just wouldn't see maybe in a thrift store or in an antique store. And I feel like these places are really well priced because it's not an antique store. You're not dealing with a professional dealer, you're dealing with just an individual who is a vendor. So someone who's just like finding these cool things and then reselling them at the value that they are typically worth. And I love that because I just love walking around a warehouse looking for trinkets and treasures. But also, I just feel like that is the place where I'm actually going to find the things I'm looking for because of the wide range of variety of stuff and at a price point that I'm willing to pay. Another great option are the antique stores, and these are so fun. I very rarely buy things in these stores because they are outrageously expensive and way out of my price range. I have found maybe like 5 things in my entire house that have been from an actual antique store. And that is like, it's a really small, it's a pretty small item. Or I bought like a pack of postcards that were really cool that are from national parks that we've been to, and I framed those, and those were pretty inexpensive. But I am not ever buying like furniture from these places or a lot of times art just because I think it is pretty overpriced at a lot of times. And I can find those similar things at those flea markets for a lot cheaper, especially if it's not something super specific. I feel like the antique stores are great if you're looking for art from a specific artist or a specific time period or a very specific style of rug, or you want a very specific sideboard. Those are great because even if they don't have it, they might have a connection to help you get what you want. So it's very worth it at the very least to try to have a relationship with those people because, one, they're super cool and they know everything about all the stuff in their store. And 2, if you ever need something in the future, then like they can probably get it for you because that's like their whole job. It's just finding old stuff. If you're looking to shop specifically secondhand, antique stores aren't really gonna be your jam. But if you're looking as a collector, then yes, antique stores are gonna be a great option for you. Okay, the last one is my favorite option, and I'm just gonna say it, okay? I'm gonna say it and then just hear me out. But estate sales are the best places to buy things secondhand. I know it sounds odd. I know the concept sounds odd. I get it. But these are the best options if you live somewhere farther out, like you don't live close to a big city or you don't live in a city. Just in case you don't know what an estate sale is, basically when someone passes away, like your house is just full of literally everything you own. And so the family will go through and take the items that they want to keep. And then a lot of times they will have an estate sale and they will just go through and they will price every single thing in the home. And that includes all the furniture, but it also can include people's clothes. It can include craft supplies, tools in the garage. Literally anything that is an item that's not a part of the house is going to be tagged. and put on display, and then they will have the estate sale usually over a weekend, and people will come in and walk through the house and basically like shop the entire house. I totally get if you hate that. I totally get it, because when I first heard about it, I thought it was like such a weird concept. Once I went to my first one, I was like, oh, this is actually amazing, because one, like, why are they having the estate sale? They need to get rid of all of these extra items, right? So it's really helpful for the family to, you know, not have to worry about storing or getting rid of the extra items. And then two, they can make some extra money as well if they need it for whatever. So I think that's pretty great. It's one thing to see someone's collection of something in a thrift store and you don't even know if that's someone's collection. Like, they could have just put all of the strawberry stuff together. Like, you don't know if it's someone's collection. But going to see it in someone's home who obviously took a lot of time to collect something or was into a certain style, and you can see the lamp next to the wallpaper that they chose. I don't know. I just think there's something like romantic about that idea of like a final walkthrough of that person's life. I don't know. Like, there's just this like romantic historical part of me that just really, really loves that. So that's definitely one of the reasons that I love estate sales. I will also say that I have found some amazing items at estate sales that I would have never been able to afford or find if I hadn't gone to estate sales. I've bought all kinds of things. I've bought plants. I've bought little pots for the plants. I have bought a crochet needle kit, like a cute little wallet for my crochet needles, which is so cute. This lady had a whole crochet room. It was amazing, just full of yarn and crochet patterns and everything. It was so cool. Books, lots of books, really interesting coffee table books from estate sales. I have bought art from estate sales. I have bought dishes from estate sales. We have a favorite mug that we use that we got at an estate sale. I love how this is like a video for people who have never done secondhand shopping, and like I'm just like ending it on like estate sales, like people's old stuff, and it's just like, in my brain, literally everything I've talked about, anything secondhand is obviously people's old stuff. It's just the level of like separation that you have from this stuff, and I think that's like what makes people uncomfortable, is like how many levels is too close. But as someone my grandparents passed away a couple years ago, and I like have gifted certain things to different people I know, and seeing people use those items in their homes, like, it just makes me really emotional, and just like, there are things that I couldn't keep or didn't want to keep because they weren't like my style, but I knew like my friend liked them, and like being able to see those things on display or used by someone else, it's just this cool thing that you get to see. And I feel like estate sales and secondhand shopping in general is just a part of like that experience, and I don't know, I just love it, and I think it's really cool. If you're looking at getting into secondhand shopping, these are all really great ways to do it, especially if you're like me and you live in a place where thrift stores are just like not that great. And I just want you to know there's other options for you at lots of different price points, and I just think there's a lot of options for that. So I hope that this inspires you to go secondhand shopping. I hope that you go to some estate sales and get to like see some really cool houses, because that's another good reason to go, is to see everyone's cool houses. I love secondhand shopping. Discovering secondhand shopping about 10 years ago really put me on this trajectory of where I am now. And I hope if you're considering it, that this gave you some options to actually try going secondhand shopping and just see what's out there and give it a chance, and maybe you'll find something cool. Who knows? Well, what do y'all think? Do you guys agree or disagree? What have you found at an estate sale? Be sure to let me know down below, and be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!